Okay, let's get right into it. It's not as hot today, but I have my little fan down here. It's kind of cool. My wife found this. It shoots water out. It's got a mister. It's solar. Pretty freaking cool. And it's actually helping a lot. So I'm gonna get right into it. Listen, tack för sist. Välkommen tillbaka. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yesterday's video got quite a few views, at least for my channel. I know there are people out there that get millions of views and hundreds of thousands of comments. But there was a lot of response to it for me. And I tried to respond to all of them. By the way, I started this video, and back behind me here, some people were walking their dogs, a couple ladies, and they walked right up to the fence. We're like listening, so I deleted it, started over. I don't like people just standing behind me like that. But yeah, a lot of comments. A lot of you disagreed, which was cool. Almost everybody was nice about it. And I tried to respond nicely as well. We don't have to believe the same thing. We don't have to force each other's wills down each other's throats. I am perfectly happy to respect your beliefs, your views, as long as you're kind and you're not hurting anybody. I don't care what you believe in. I follow a guy on YouTube. Yeah, you might know him. He's pretty big. He's in Norway. Bjørn Boltolsen Hansen, I believe is his name. Kind of a Viking dude. I apologize. I know somebody gave me a lot of grief for the coughing. There's nothing I can do about it. I have tried so many remedies. I have heartburn. I'm on pills for that. So I apologize. I'm trying my best. I hope it doesn't wreck the video too much. But if you got a suggestion, I'm willing to listen. But, you know, he has pagan beliefs, which that word is very misunderstood. We must have another accident up in the canyon. We got fires going on around here. It's been so hot. And it's just all hazy over the mountains there. The smoke coming from the fires a little bit southeast of us. And it's been a lot of fire summer. Anyway, that's something I would like to dive into on a video, is pagan. Because it's not what a lot of people think it is. You know, you hear pagan and you think, oh, disbeliever, heathen, horrible, you know, I don't know what, sacrifices. And it's not like that at all. I have started diving into my Viking history quite a bit in the last few years. And it's quite interesting. And they had a very structured, cool society. Did they do some crappy things? Of course they did. So did every society that's ever lived on Earth. Anyway, back to the video. Lots of response. Look, when I started this YouTube channel 4 years ago, it was all about Norway. I just talked about Norway. And I kind of faded away from it for several years because I love talking about Norway. I'm headed back there myself in just a couple of days. And it's such a beautiful, amazing country. The people are so amazing. But I didn't want to limit myself to just that. So since I've restarted in the last few months, I really am trying to let the channel lead me instead of me leading the channel. There is no point in me putting out videos that nobody has any interest in watching. And I've put some videos out that I thought were interesting, that I like telling the stories, and they did okay. But I see the ones that are getting all the views, and it's almost every time one of my Mormon mission stories or a story about the Mormon church, or it's that stuff that's getting all the views. And that's why I'm doing more of them. I still don't want my channel to just be a quote Mormon channel. There are plenty of those out there, and I will continue to talk about it because you all are obviously interested. It's by far, just gonna adjust this, by far the one that gets the most views is talking about that. And so that's what I'm going to do, as long as I have subjects to talk about. I don't just want to ramble about nothing, which maybe I'm doing right now. Here's one that I am going to do a video about in the future, but I want to do a little more research. I mean, I know a fair bit about it already, but I want to have everything lined up, and that's baptisms for the dead. And the reason that kind of came up is because somebody, I think it was responding to the video yesterday, talked about, the blessing of going to the temple and getting baptized for his ancestors. I'll be honest, in fact, I'll touch on this subject a little bit here. I always thought it was kind of weird. And I'm not trying to criticize it if you believe in that. But here's where I don't know if criticize is the right word, but I do not like it. My dad is really into this, and I've done it many times. When I was a member, I did baptisms for the dead. I always thought it was very strange for me to get baptized for some person that died 500 years ago, whatever it was. Shouldn't that be their choice, not mine? And I know you guys, some of you will explain it away and say, well, it's this and it's this and this. The church got busted a few years ago because they were baptizing a lot of Jewish people for the dead. And a lot of Jewish people got very offended by that, which I would too. If I found out that some church that I was not a part of, that I didn't believe in, was, quote, baptizing people that had died in my family or my ancestors into their religion in some after-death ritual, I would be offended too. I don't think that's right. It's one thing if you want to find relatives in your history. I still think it's a little odd to be doing these decisions for people that are long gone. Yeah, I won't get into it too deeply here, but there's a lot to be said about that. And I know a lot of you have strong beliefs on both sides of that. So I know some of you, because I've seen the comments, I know some of you think it's completely whacked out and crazy and rude and all kinds of things. And then others think this is the best thing we could ever do for somebody. When I was part of the church, like I said, I felt like it was weird then. And I was talking to my son when I interviewed him the other day, and he had gone and done that a couple times when he was a youth. And he said he was just creeped out by the whole thing. I've said I will not talk specifically about the things that happen in the temple as far as the words, the rituals, whatever. There are plenty that do that. I just came across one where she was just outright the whole temple ceremony. I think that's horrible. Just my belief. Even though I'm not part of that church anymore, I did say I wouldn't talk about that stuff. And some of you will say, well, a promise to a liar is not a promise. I don't see it that way. To me, it's like, I gave my word, I'm going to try and honor that, unless something really strange or extraordinary happens, I'm just not going to. So my first gut reaction when I saw her thumbnail on the video, which showed basically a part of the temple ceremony, I don't know if she recreated it or snuck a camera in or what, my gut reaction was, that is awful. I cannot go along with that. I cannot condone that. And you might think I'm naive. You're like, well, you left the church. What do you care? You don't believe in it. That doesn't mean I can't respect the beliefs of the LDS Church, because I do, for the most part. Now, some of you, this is another thing I would like to dive into more, because I'm not completely up on this. That's the Gospel Doctrine Papers. I saw somebody being interviewed. He was a bishop on Mormon Stories podcast, and talking about the Gospel Doctrine Papers. And there's a lot of stuff in there. And it was kind of, what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when an administration in the White House, doesn't matter who's in power, RD, I don't care about that. They'll have something, whatever administration, pick anyone you want, both sides. They'll pick a topic that is very controversial, raises a lot of people's senses up, and they'll release something about it on Friday at 6 p.m. or something like that. And it just kind of slides away because the news week is over and you don't hear a lot about it. That's how I feel about these papers. And so before I comment too deeply on them, I want to do my own research. And this particular guy, and I'm almost positive I've met him. He looked so familiar. I think the interview was actually about 5 years ago, but I'm pretty sure he lives somewhere around where I've lived because he looked so familiar. Anyway, he was a sitting bishop, and he started finding out all these things that just don't mesh. And, you know, if you can make a mesh in your mind, more power to you. But I can't just take everything, well, for gospel, let's use that word. I'm not just going to assume what somebody tells me is true. And that goes all the way up the chain, because I have seen and read things from all kinds of church leaders over the last century and a half, 175, 180 years, that just aren't right. They're just not right. And they're easily provable. Does that mean they were outright lying? I don't know. Maybe. There's a couple of leaders that I've talked about, and I get blowback on this too. I actually think Joseph Smith was probably a good guy. I think he was sincerely looking for something true. You know, a couple of you said, well, for sure he saw God and Jesus, but there's no, I don't see any way for you to know that. I certainly don't know that, and I won't say that he didn't see him, because how could I know? But it does feel like he was a sincere guy. Obviously he had faults. We all do. Brigham Young took over for him. I think a lot changed in the church then. And I've talked a little bit about him before. I'll just anger people if I get into it too much. Or some of you will be like, yeah, speak the truth. There were some things he said that were just awful. Just awful. And there's no way to defend it. There's just not. But at the same time, there is so much written. I've been accused many times on this channel that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm ignorant on the facts. And there are lots of things I'm ignorant about. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. But when I was part of the church, when I went on a Mormon mission, I dove headfirst in. You know, I've said I read the Book of Mormon front to back 3, maybe 4 times. I read the New and the Old Testament front to back. That's not an easy read, by the way. I knew my scriptures inside out. Somebody just, on my video yesterday, quoted a bunch of scriptures, which I used to do too. It's so easy to nitpick and nitpick and pick out a scripture that supports your point of view. And then I can easily go find another scripture that contradicts that. Or you can interpret it differently. So I don't put a lot of faith in just grabbing a scripture here and there, which this guy yesterday was doing. In fact, he quoted like 6 different scriptures. There are so many ways to, as a Mormon missionary, I found all kinds, because when we first started teaching people, we didn't go out and, hey, here's the Book of Mormon, read this. We went with the Bible. We went with what people knew. I don't know how they do it now. I don't know how they did it in every other mission in the world. That's how we did it. And, you know, I could pick all kinds of scriptures out of the Bible back then that would completely back up my beliefs as an LDS missionary. So that doesn't hold any meaning for me. So when he quoted all these scriptures that says this and this and this, you know, if that works for you, great. It used to work for me. Actually, it didn't even work. It's so shocking. I'm continuing to read my Mormon mission journals, and I'm just shocked by my thought process. I had a pretty good idea. I've talked about it, but I didn't understand or realize or remember that it was an almost daily struggle, at least in these first 6 months that I'm into right now. I don't know if I'm going to read any more in the next couple of days because we're going on our trip. There's a hummingbird right next to me. Stay there, little buddy. Oh, man. Dang it. If he comes back, I'll show you. We've had a lot of hummingbirds in the yard today. It's very cool. We sit out here, have our coffee, and just my wife and I sit and talk and watch the birds in the morning if it's not too hot. So Anyway, I just wanted to follow up a little bit. I may do 2 videos today because this is not really the video I wanted to do, but I wanted to let y'all know that I am trying to follow what you're interested in watching, and try to do more like that, even if it's a little controversial. And sometimes those are the best videos because they get conversation going. And I see conversation going not just between you commenting on my video and me commenting back, but between the commenters commenting on each other's comments, which is, I find that very cool. Sometimes they're not very nice comments. You know, if you're gonna leave a mean, nasty comment towards me, I probably won't say anything. I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. When you leave a nasty comment on somebody who's left me a respectful comment, I might say something. Like, there was a woman yesterday that made a kind of a mean comment to someone. She just flat out called her a liar, which I don't know if the woman's a liar. I have no idea. I don't know her. But I said, you know, that's not being very nice. Not that I can control what somebody wants to say or not say. For the most part, I don't have any interest in blocking anybody. I like getting discussion out there. But if somebody is consistently just negative and nasty, I'll get rid of them. It's my prerogative, my channel. But I want it to be a shared experience. Like I said, I'm following where you all are taking me. I'm doing videos. If they do well, I'll do more like that. If they don't do well, then I guess I gotta figure out something else to talk about. So I've said it before, I will be doing several videos while I'm in Norway. Hopefully we can get some really cool landscapes and scenery. The weather does not look great right now. Right now it's showing it's gonna rain every day we're there. But you never know. I mean, they say this everywhere I've ever been. Oh, it's Kentucky. The weather can change in 2 minutes. Oh, it's Utah. It can change in 2 minutes. It's Georgia. It's Norway. It's Canada. It's like that everywhere, guys. It's like that everywhere. Now, some places less so. San Diego, you're pretty much the same weather every day of the year. You know, the Mexican desert or the Utah desert, well, no, it can change fast out there. So, yeah, that's it for now. I just want to thank you again for watching and following. And I'm always open to suggestions. You know, if there's something you would like me to talk about, or, well, I'm not, if you're just going to criticize, then, you know, you can do that. Like I said, odds are I'll pay no attention to that. But I do read them. So far, I've read every single comment that's come in, or at least I think I have. And I will continue to do that, at least as long as I can. So for now, we will leave it there, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Be nice to each other. Be nice to people you meet. You never know what they're going through. I am far from perfect, and I hope I never put it out there that I'm some condescending know-it-all, because I don't feel that way. I'm not that. I am learning constantly, and I actually learn from some of your comments, and there's things I've gone and looked up because of something you all commented. So like I said, I want to talk about those gospel doctrine papers, but I don't want to just talk blindly, you know, and just talk without knowing anything. So I won't get into that until I know a little bit more about it. And I would like to do videos on other stuff too. I had a health scare a couple of years ago that I want to talk about, not because it's about me, because it might help somebody out there. So I might do that later this afternoon, do a twofer today. We'll see. It's not super hot today. It's only like 92 today, so much nicer than the 104 we had yesterday. Have a great day, y'all. Tack för denna gång. Vi snackas igen snart. Peace. Love.